What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope everyone had a wonderful day. Today we're flying the beautiful AIRBUS A330 over to the beautiful Honduras. Good to see you guys. Hope everyone had a wonderful day. We had a late start, but we are up, and ready to go. We got Deja in the chat. Good to see you, Deja, aka Willie's fiance. We got Justin, we got Gerald, we got Sturdy Moss, we got Brian. What's going on, bro? Antonio, good to see you, man. Max, always good to see you. We got Yeetus, welcome to the stream. Rock out, keep on rocking out, man. Hope everyone had a wonderful day. We got also my beautiful girlfriend in the chat, and not only the chat, she's right next to me. Shout out to Mary. Say hello. She said hello. All right, guys, we are ready to start. Is it right now? It's 7:35 for you. Nice. Willie said your wifey's in the chat. Let's go. Nice. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. What did you guys do today, man? I had a good day. Also, I went to see a baseball game. It was pretty awesome. Mary said her life almost ended. It was crazy, man. We were sitting and the ball came straight towards us, and she just froze. Didn't know what to do, but I was there to save the day. But nah, the ball actually fell right in front of us. I have a video clip of it. It was on TV. I'll show you guys in a few minutes. So you guys, basically, it's going to be a face reveal. But then again, it's not really showing my face. It's blurred out, but I'll still show you guys the video. But once again, let me know what you guys did today as we're V1ing and rotating out of here. Barely making it. Oh my goodness. All right, we are up. All right, so let me see. Rock out. There's ads? There's no way. Maybe there's an ad to begin with. There shouldn't be ads. Let me see. Just got my mom for my mom's graduation. Congratulations to your mom. That is amazing. Alexis, good to see you. Max said, bro, I went to a baseball game as well today. What are the odds? No way, man. That's pretty cool. Steady Monster just want to pop in and say hello. I'm got to eat and then go to bed. Got you, bro. Much love. Antonio said my practice got canceled today. Explored Philly and got coffee with my friends. Got you, man. Sounds good. Sounds good. Antonio said, Trip, I'm so ready to lose to you today. Antonio, you must have forgot the games we played last week, man. That was so close. It was really good. Let me see. We're going to be voting for, we are going to be voting for extreme landings tomorrow. Tonight for tomorrow. So now we need 800K more for for face reveal. Yeah, we actually do, man. We actually do. But this is not really a face reveal. This is just a little clip. Let me show you guys real quick what we did today. But yeah, what's up, Rylan? Good to see you, man. Rylan, good to see you. Welcome to the stream, bro. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let me see if we can pull up this quick video. So basically, guys, this was the game I was at today. I was here and the ball came straight towards Mary. I almost knocked her out, but she's doing all right. So this is the play. Boom, hit over, and we are right here. You can see me standing up right. Oh, it's not showing. It's so bad you can hardly see, but I'm right here. That's me trying to save Mary. You can't see Mary, but that's me trying to reach over and protect my girlfriend with all my might. Because if she got hit, I would not hear the end of it. But that's basically me in the white shirt, and that's her nephew, my nephew right here, and she's hiding behind me. So that was today. It was on TV, and Brian said he was watching. He didn't see me, but that was it. But yeah, man, appreciate you guys so much for hopping on. What's up, Rylan? See, I'm doing good. What about you? I'm doing good too, man. Doing pretty good. It said, and rock out, I'm sorry. Nick, we got Nick in the chat. Nick said, you're Superman. What's going on? We got Captain Nick, man. Captain Nick, if you'd like to be on the phone, man, I'd love to give you a call right now, man. Good to see you. So Trip, you're 6 feet tall. Yeah, man, I am indeed 6'1", 6'2", man. So Trip, you need to do a quick landing into Madeira after this fight. There's crazy winds. Oh, I gotta check it out. Brian said, bro, I went full screen and zoomed in. I still couldn't see you. That is funny, man. All right, so we are gonna have Captain Nick on the line. Let's go. Let me see. You say your ear's been hurting for 5 days straight. Oh my goodness. Hopefully you don't have an ear infection, but I would definitely get it checked out. Let me see. I'm back. I'm in Cabo, having a great time. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we are going to be having on the stream the one and only, the amazing Captain Nick. Let's go and give him a call real quick. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Hello.
What's going on?
We got Captain Nick on the line, man. What's going on, man? How is it, Captain Nick? Always good to talk to you.
Faster at joining these calls, man.
Yeah, man. That's fine, man. It's always good to have you on. How you been, man? How you been?
Oh, fantastic, man.
Awesome,
Doing very,
awesome,
very
awesome.
well. How about
Nice.
you?
I'm doing good actually. I'm doing really good. Let me go ahead and start the TikToks. Everyone in TikTok can hear the awesome Captain Nick. And we are now live. All right, so once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the phone with the awesome Captain Nick. He's a captain for Southwest. Awesome guy. Great experience. He can teach you how to fly a plane in one day. He's an amazing guy, and he loves his job. And we love him here on the channel. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask him. And yeah, man. So Captain Nick, how has the last couple of weeks been, man? We missed you on the channel. How's everything been? You got any crazy stories to tell us? You had any emergencies? Anything, let us know. Welcome back, man.
Yeah, not any emergencies, thankfully, but
Yeah.
you know, had to take a couple people off the plane,
Oh.
and I think I had a diversion since then.
Oh
Man,
my
I don't know.
goodness.
There's people who follow my flights more than I do, I think. So
Yeah.
they may know better than I do.
I must say, very shout out to Nate. Nate is always doing your flight. I got on the Discord a few days ago, and I saw he was streaming your flight. He was literally flying behind you in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So shout out to Nate. Yeah,
he does almost every leg, which is cool because it helps with. He listens to live ATC.
Yeah,
and he flies flights, and he downloads the flight plans. Like, truly, if it's something you're interested in doing for a living,
yeah,
that's a good way to go about it because you're learning, the ATC lingo. Because I hear that the most, right? These people are like, "Oh man, I'm so nervous to talk to ATC." Well, listen first, and then see how we do it in the real world, and then it comes second nature over time. Don't throw yourself to the wolves.
exactly.
And so the way he does it, and he can help people. Him and Antonio do it a lot, actually.
Yeah, he just said it. Yeah,
a couple other guys that join as well. But him and Antonio, man. I mean, every flight it seems like. I mean, like I said, I think they know my flight schedule better than I do. So they hop on and
they do
listen to live ATP. They do my flight plan and the whole 9 yards. But then it helps because I'll get a text or message after the flight, and it's like, hey, why did it take you so long to get to the gate?
Wow.
And then it's like, oh yeah, so we forgot to talk about this because we had blah 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 going on, and then it helps with the real world. Like, in the real world,
wow,
it doesn't just go as planned. Like, things happen.
That is cool. That's very educational for them also. That's pretty good. George, we got George, my cousin, aka another pilot in the chat. Good to see you, George. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream, everyone on TikTok and on YouTube. Hope everyone is having a great day right now. We're on the line with the awesome Captain Nick. He's a captain of Southwest. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know. Thank you so much for all the follows and everything on TikTok and on YouTube. Yeah, man. So this weekend I had an opportunity to go up in a Cessna, but I didn't because the wind. I was kind of scared. I'm not gonna lie. There's another TikToker. He's a good friend of mine. Trezzy, I think his name is. I had him on the stream for a few times, and he was down in my area, and he offered me, but it was a little bit windy and it was kind of raining, so I kind of had to turn him down because I didn't want to take the chance. But hey.
Yeah, and if you're, I would say, like, if you were in flight training,
yeah,
I would have been like, hey, I think that's a great time actually to go fly.
Yeah.
Once you have a couple flights under your belt and you feel a little more comfortable because you're with someone obviously more experienced than yourself. And that's what I used to tell a lot of my students that. I was like, they'd be like, hey, man, it's 12 knot winds. Okay, perfect. Like, go up with me. That way you're not doing this alone. But I get that if you're like, I'm not in flight training yet. And he's a friend of mine. Like, I get that pushing that limit, and that's smart, man. Like, there's a lot of pilots. I've too many times have I been up there wishing I was down here, whereas it's better to be down here wishing you were up there.
Yeah,
so that's a good call on your. It shows a lot of judgment.
Yes, sir. All right, so we're gonna get in some questions here. I got some good questions here from the chat. Let me see, Captain Nick, how many flights are you doing in a day? Another one. Yeah, go ahead.
2, 3, or 4. So it just depends.
Wow.
Sometimes 1. On average, I would say we do 2 or 3. And if it's a really busy day, we'll do 4.
Wow. That is a lot. Do you drink a lot of coffee to keep up?
So I'm not a coffee guy, man. I mean, if it's a desperate calls, desperate measures, it's like I'll do an espresso.
Okay.
But
gotcha.
For the most part, I try to change my sleep schedule. That's why you see me answering all these questions.
Late.
And for anyone who doesn't know, I do the Ask a Pilot, and I try to get to you as soon as possible. But most of the time, I'm doing those at like 1, 2 in the morning.
I love that.
Because I try to keep my time clock. A lot of these pilots who complain about their times, it's like, well, when you get home, you're trying to go back to that 6 a.m. life. It doesn't work.
That is crazy. A few days ago, I also posted a video about a Black Hawk getting lasered A person laser in the Black Hawk, and the pilots reporting it. And that goes along with a question I'm going to read now. Rylan said, Captain Nick, have you ever been lasered, and what do you do in that situation?
Yes, many times actually. I have been lasered many times.
Wow.
And it is a problem. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't really affect the pilot. Yeah, it absolutely does. It bounces around in that cockpit like you know, like a what's it called, a house of mirrors.
Yeah.
When you're walking around and you get to that point where you see like 10 of yourself.
Yeah.
So,
oh my.
So the laser does the same thing. Like the laser hits. We have, you know, 20 pane windows, and so it bounces around in that. And then we've got glass cockpits, so it bounces around in there. And most of us are wearing, you know, glasses or sunglasses, so it's bouncing around there. So like one laser hitting our plane really affects us. And we do report them every time, and then we file a report with the FAA. So every time you hit a plane with a laser, that is a federal offense that you're doing. And that could be federal prison. That could be federal time. Matter of fact, the first guy in California a few years ago who got busted for it, he got 14 years in federal prison.
What? 14?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
You're endangering the lives of everyone on board our plane. So,
that is...
Because most of the time, you're not hitting us at 30,000 feet. Yeah. You're hitting us at 300 feet when we're landing.
That is very dangerous. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I get lased quite a bit. We've got a thing, and then it goes into a PIREP, which is a pilot report.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's close to, like if you were landing, it goes into the METAR. So if you ever listen to the weather at an airport, it'll actually be posted in there. It'll be like laser illumination event.
Wow.
You know, 4 miles northeast of the airport, green laser, blue laser, whatever.
That is
so
very
it becomes
interesting.
very public.
Yeah, Brian even sent me a YouTube video the other day showing that police definitely know how to locate a person that's using laser. It's very easy. A lot of people think they can do it and just get away with it, but they literally can identify your location and they will arrest you. Like you said, 14 years. Yeah, that's a long time indeed.
And I give a lat long. You know, when I get lased, I can give a latitude and a longitude. Like I can pinpoint you.
Wow.
Down to, you know, a block, and then a police helicopter is going to figure that out real quick.
Wow. That is pretty cool. We have another question here from
Don't
yeah, exactly. Don't do it, guys. Steady Mouse said, Captain Nick, what were the passengers doing to get the boot? You mentioned earlier that you had to kick off some people off of your flights recently. He basically asked you, what were they doing, if you can answer?
They were just being stupid, man. So there was a grandmother. Sorry, my ring's going off.
No, that's fine.
There was a grandmother, a grandfather, and a grandson. And they were on our flight Long Beach to Austin. And they all came on wearing masks. Well, with Southwest, we're unique in the sense that we don't do boarding. Like you don't get a seat. You just pick a seat, sit down, and hang on for the ride. So it's not like, you know, American United Delta where it's like, oh, I'm 35A.
Yeah.
At Southwest, we do the corral call, just get on the plane and pick a seat, sit down, and we're going to go.
Okay.
And so what they did was they sat in a way where they were trying to block off 2 or 3 rows to themselves.
What?
And they were like, yeah, we're super contagious. We're super sick. No one needs to sit next to us. And so my flight attendants were like, hey, if you're that sick, you guys need to get off the plane. And so it backfired on them really quick. And the guy stood up and got in her face, like aggressively.
And
was like, you need to just mind your own business, blah, blah, blah. And that gets to me because, dude, my crew is my family while I'm on a trip. And so I'm definitely not going to let you get in my wife's face. I'm definitely not going to let you get into a flight attendant's face.
Sure.
I'm not going to let you get in, like if you and I are hanging out together, I'm not letting someone get in Trip's face.
Yeah.
And so, he got in my flight attendant's face and I was like, dude, you're gone. And so I kicked him, his wife and his grandson all off because they're all doing the same thing. And then the retribution for that was they ended up rebooking them because, Southwest believes in second chances. And so they rebooked them through Phoenix. But it was like, so now they had to go to Phoenix to go to Austin. So it's going to take them all day. That was kind of their penalty. But it's just no reason to play with fire.
Exactly. That is very unreasonable of them. That is crazy. But they got a second chance from shout out to Southwest. So shout out to Southwest. That's pretty cool. Question here from, let me see. Basically, he's asking, is it Captain Nick, have you ever been in some type of emergency, like a compressor stall, engine fire, anything like that?
So, not with Southwest. I have had an engine failure when I was flying single engine planes.
Okay.
Jet engines are wildly simple, which makes them wildly effective and safe. I mean, it's literally just air and then gas getting thrown into a can of air and being lit on fire.
Wow.
And so there's not a lot to go wrong there. But like you said, whoever mentioned that, they obviously know what they're talking about because compressor stalls and
for sure.
That stuff happens.
Great. That was a great question. Yep. Indeed.
But not with Southwest.
Oh, okay, got you. Also, welcome to the stream, everyone. I see some new people coming in. We got Rio. Good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. What's going on, man? Then we have Hobie.
Guy, man, you want to talk about someone who can slam some questions.
Yeah, Rio's great at it, man. Rio's great. We got Captain Hobie also. Captain Hobie, good to see you with a CFI. We got a few CFIs and pilots in the chat tonight, man. Good to see you guys. Welcome. Good to have you guys. Right now, we're on the line with the awesome Captain Nick for Southwest. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Air Canada on TikTok said I have a question for you guys. Sure, shoot your question, man. Let us know. Let me scroll up. I missed a few questions here. Can you ask him if he ever gets scared being a pilot?
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think scared's the right word. There have been times, obviously, where you grip the yoke a little. Like you hit something like wake turbulence is something we can't predict. I mean, it's something we can, we have education on, and we're like, okay, if we blah blah blah, then we're probably gonna get wake turbulence. But like every once in a while, you just get it out of nowhere, and you weren't expecting it, and so that will, it's called the pucker factor, right? So like that will give you pucker factor. You're like, whoa, what was that? But no, scared is not a word I would use. I mean, we train too much. I don't want to say we know too much as like a cocky thing.
No,
but like
it's fine.
We have education in what we do, and so we understand it too much to be scared of it. And also, it's so this is something that a friend of mine is going through right now. He's actually on the stream I don't know if he's on this stream right now, but he's in our Discord.
Oh, nice.
And he's going through something now where he's in the Destination 225 program, and before his first flight, we just unfortunately lost a former Destination 225 pilot.
Wow. I'm sorry.
So there's still it's humbling, right? It's very, and I told him, my wife Shayna said something to me that I'll always remember from now on. And she said, because he was like kind of having second thoughts, or he was just a little nervous. He was like, man, he's like, I haven't even taken my first flight yet, and someone's already died.
Wow.
And she said, she was like, if you knew one day, and you didn't know when, but you knew one day you were going to die doing this, do you love it enough to continue? And for me, yes, is the answer. And so when you find something that you love doing so much that it becomes a part of who you are, not what you do, but who you are, then it's worth dying over. And none of us know when our time is.
That's true.
But I know that I'll have a smile on my face.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, yes, she passed away. And when I talked to him, we spent hours on the phone, and I was like, this should get you humble. This should tell you every time you go up on a plane, you need to treat it with that much more respect, because it is real. It's a real risk. I mean, what we do is safe, but when things happen, they have very serious risks. It's not like in a car where you just pull over and you call it a day. I mean, what we do is very safe. However, when things do happen, they come with serious risks. So I wouldn't say that I get scared of flying. I would say I'm very respectful of what I do, and I try to limit risk wherever I can, obviously.
Just want to say I'm sorry for your loss, but that is a great answer. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, and that's a great answer, man. That is true, man. And a plane crash is definitely like a car crash. You can get a dent and it'd be all right, but a plane crash is very, very, it could be detrimental. So that is true. Great answer. And Captain Hobie's in the chat. He said, we don't get scared. We just deal with it. Indeed.
That's true.
Great answer. We had another question here from Antonio. It was a great question. Let me see if we can find it. He says, let me see. Basically, he was asking, how do you stay motivated during your demanding schedule? How do you stay motivated during your demanding schedule?
So that's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because my schedule, luckily now that I have some seniority, I mean, like next month I have 19 days off. That's not so demanding.
Nice.
But while I'm at work, it is demanding. Like next month, some of my trips are like 4 legs this day, 4 legs that day, 3 legs, and then 4 legs. I mean, I have like 4 day, 4 days of 4 legs per day. And so it does get very tiring sometimes, but man, when you have such a passion for what you do, there's not, and I'll tell you this, you can talk to any pilot I've ever flown with that would back this up. There is not a single flight that goes by that I don't look out the window and go, I get paid to do this. That's crazy. Like you guys, awesome. You guys are dumb for paying me to do this because I do it for free. Like y'all are dumb. And so there's not a day that goes by. So like, is leaving my family hard? Yes. Is leaving home hard? Yes. But man, once I get on that plane, like I love what I do. And that's the perk of doing what you love to do is like when they say like, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
Man, it's true. Like, I just don't feel like it's work. Now I could feel like it's, like it's challenged for sure. Like there are days where I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're throwing the book at us, but that's going to happen anywhere. So you might as well love what you do.
That's true. Great answer, man. Great answer. I have an interesting question here for you from Study Moss. It's a great question. It said, what about those people who wear glasses? Can they still become a pilot if you wear glasses?
I wear glasses.
See?
Yeah, I wear glasses. Yeah. So as now with aviation, as long as it's correctable to 2020, we don't care anymore. It used to be, and it was before, certain technologies, like it used to be that like, man, if you didn't have 2020, then good luck. And then, the military even was like, okay, well, you can do, was it PRK or RPK or whatever it is, not the laser, but you can do like the knife, like the scalpel one. And so, yeah, like we, as long as you are correctable to 2020, you're good to go. Now, there are certain things, that will disqualify you, but I'm not a doctor. Okay. And so there are certain things that they do every year on our medicals where I'm like, whoa, what are you doing in my eye? Like, it's like they're like, oh, which number, intersects the laser? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, there it is. So like, there are multiple tests they run.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as just vision, as long as you're correctable to 2020, you're good to go.
Nice. That's
and not colorblind.
Not colorblind. Yes, I actually had a friend that actually is colorblind and wanted to pursue to be a pilot, but they can't because they're colorblind. So that is a big thing.
So they can, right? They can be pilots.
Yeah.
To a degree. They can't be airline transport pilots, but they could be like flight instructors.
Okay.
They could do other things.
Yeah.
They just can't, they can't fly for Southwest.
Yeah. His dream, he wanted to be a pilot for American Airlines. So when he heard that, that shattered his dreams, but he still works at the airport. He's still close to the airplane. So he's still living the dream. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Another question here from Antonio. Great question. So what advancements in aviation technology excite you the most for the future of aviation? Advancement in aviation technology.
So there's a lot of them, right? Like one of them that I'm a little more familiar with is Boom Aviation. And they are, sorry, I'm not like sponsored. I didn't like take a deep breath like to allow you to email it or anything like. So Boom Aviation is, I just had to breathe. Boom Aviation is, you remember the Concorde, right?
Yes.
So the Concorde, which is crazy that we had that technology in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then we haven't touched it again. I mean, it was so expensive, but we used to break the sound barrier on flights routinely.
Wow.
And then we stopped doing it because it was so expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Boom Aviation they're doing it again, and they're talking about doing it because our advancement in engines, especially like with high bypass motors and stuff like that, we've made everything more economical.
That is awesome.
And so Boom Aviation, which I think United has some interest in, they are looking to basically bring back like Concorde 2.0. I mean, it's not going to be the Concorde, but it's going to be, if you look at the video, I mean, it's very similar.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah,
obviously.
Me too. I love the Concorde. I'd love to see a new one. That would be pretty cool. Boom Aviation. I think I heard about it before. I'll definitely do some more research on it. That was a great question, Antonio. Amazing question. Boom Aviation. I'll look forward to it. Abraham said, Captain Nick, what's the significance of ICE flags? ICE flags. I'm not sure if you know.
ICE flag?
Yeah, what he's referring to. ICEFLAGS. All caps. I don't know if they stand for something.
Either.
I'm not sure.
Hit me with a little bit of
Yeah.
context, and let's talk about that.
Yeah,
again.
Abraham.
Was
We'll
that
get back
on,
to. Yeah, we'll get back
YouTube
to that.
or TikTok?
Gotcha. He was on YouTube. Yeah, his name is Abraham.
Okay. So, I mean,
All right.
and worst case scenario, I mean, get on the Discord, right, and then shoot me a message.
Awesome. Welcome in the stream, guys. Hoping everyone is having a good day. Good to see you. YYC, good to see you, man. We got Houston, Alexis. Everybody's hopping in. Welcome to the stream. We're just now on the phone with the awesome Captain Nick. Welcome to the stream. He said, "What was your longest flight, Captain Nick?" That was from Chloe.
I mean, I've done some that approach 8 hours, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Yes.
I know we're talking about doing, once we get the Max 7, we're going to do Denver to Hawaii direct. That is every bit of 8 hours.
Oh my goodness.
And that will be the longest I will do, and that'll be the longest I care to do. Because it's just, man, you're like, are we there yet? You look down, you're like, nope. Nope.
This water. It's flying over water.
Just more water. So yeah, those aren't fun for me, man. Like, they sound all cool, and now, once we get to Hawaii, we've got 20 something hours and an overnight, and then we bounce around within Hawaii and have another overnight. So yeah, they reward you for it. You're like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to Oahu for 22 hours. That's pretty cool, but you still got to get there and back.
Exactly.
That's where Boom Aviation comes into play. If I could fly to Hawaii in a couple hours versus 8, that's not a bad deal.
That is awesome. Brian said on that 8-hour flight,
those planes, they're not going to let us stay there. They're gonna have us fly to Hawaii and then fly right back.
Oh man, that would be crazy. Brian said on that 8-hour flight, you almost needed meal service for sure. Definitely gonna need a meal service. Camilio, good to see you, man. He said 14 stream in a row. Thank you so much for your support, man. Much love. Abraham, he actually came with some more information. He gave you the
cool.
Yeah, if you can check out the comment, he's basically saying inversion, curl assist, elevator, false horizon. So he's basically explaining what does ICE, what the abbreviation stand for. So in the meantime, let me see. Brian R, what's going on? Good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. He said, Captain Nick Haro. Let me see. How come my wife doesn't listen rationally? Oh my goodness, Brian. That is not aviation.
You tried having a conversation with her?
Oh my goodness. Brian, our Captain Nick said, have you tried having a conversation with her? Let me see.
Have you tried opening up?
Have you tried opening up? Great advice, man. Let me see. Dwayne.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want
to. Coriolis, elevator, false horizon, autokinesis. Oh, okay. So these are landing phenomenons, most of them. Now, I mean, some of them, I don't know. Like Coriolis is like just the Coriolis effect of the Earth. So there's a lot going on in this text here. There are like graveyard spirals, false horizon. I know many of these off the top of my head. Some of these I'd have to look up, but obviously, like when you're first learning to fly, there are a lot of, like, that false horizon is a very good one. There are a lot of things, like when you come into land, that you have to learn to overcome. And a lot of people, what they're doing is when you have the sun out in your corner, the way the sun and the shadows play on your vision when you're landing can really mess with you. It can make the runway seem closer, further away, longer, skinnier. And so you have to really learn to mess with those. And like, especially landing at night, look down the runway. Don't look at the runway. Look look down toward the end of the runway. It's kind of like when you're driving. You don't look at the hood of your car. You look like hundreds of feet in front of you. And so new pilots have a problem when they're, doing landings. They look like right in front of the plane.
Oh my goodness.
You need to look all the way down the runway. And there's, a lot of what you asked me, I'd love to answer in greater detail. It would take a long time though. So hit me up on the Discord and let me kind of nab those one at a time. Yeah,
big shout out to Abraham. Good question and great answer by Captain Nick. Sure. That was awesome, man. So basically, on talking about longer flights, Antonio said, on longer flights, how do you manage fuel consumption on the airplane?
Yeah, we're checking constantly. And that's the cool thing about the Max, right? So like if we took, because the Max is an 800, understand that.
Yeah.
So there's an 800 and then there's the 800 Max. It just has the new engines and new technology. So if we flew an 800 and a Max side by side, took off at the exact same time in tandem, landed at the exact same time in Hawaii, the Max saves us about 4,000 pounds of fuel per trip.
Oh my goodness.
And so, so every crossing, right? So like we go there and then back, it's 8,000 pounds of fuel right there.
Wow.
So So we check every single point. We check, here's what we were supposed to burn. Here's what we actually burned. Here's the time that we were supposed to be at. Here's the time we actually are. Are we ahead, behind? Are we fat? Are we light as far as fuel? We check it constantly. And then we try to figure out, so there's like a halfway point, and it's not always perfectly halfway, but like there is a point depending on winds where we say, you know what, got our losses, we need to go back. And that includes an emergency and it includes fuel as well. But like we never do a flight unless you can plan me to fly to my destination, plus fly to the furthest alternate away, plus fly for another 45 minutes. I'm not even going to take off the ground unless I have that much fuel.
Nice. Wow. Yeah. That's good to know. That's really good to know.
Safe.
Yeah.
Very safe.
That is, safety first indeed. That is really, really good to know. That is a great answer. Great question also. Brian said, it's almost impossible. He said, my wife is hard-headed. Oh, my goodness. You guys are funny, man.
Just a couple come.
We have a few more questions here. He said, do pilots rotate on longer flights? For instance, if you guys flew to Hawaii on an 8-hour flight, like, do you guys rotate? Do you have like three or four pilots or 3 pilots?
Not on 8 hours. Once you start going past that, though, then you're gonna have it's called a relief pilot. And they call them different things at different places, like stand-in pilots. There's all sorts of different names that they work with, but it's just it's a relief pilot. So like if we're doing like a 9-hour flight, then we need another pilot. And what's gonna happen is like, I'll take off and I'll fly like the first 4 hours, and then we're gonna flip around and that person's gonna come take my seat, and I'm gonna hang out in the back and maybe get some sleep or eat or watch a movie or whatever. And then after a couple hours, I'll go back in there, and then the other person I was originally flying with will go back out, and then that stand-in pilot stands in for them. And then at the end, so at the beginning and the end, all of us are in the same cockpit. So like when you do like 12-hour flights, and there's like four pilots, all 4 of them will be in the cockpit together for the takeoffs and landings. But then the second we get up to cruise, those 2 relief pilots will hop in the back. And then at some point, we'll just rotate through. But then for landing, we all get back together again. So it's all hands on deck for takeoffs and landings. But Southwest, we don't do flights like that, so we don't need those stand-up pilots.
Understood.
Thankfully,
that is good to know.
Ruthless.
You guys are on point with these questions tonight, man. Awesome questions. These are good questions.
Seriously,
to know.
And here's the crazy thing.
Yeah,
Antonio has my cell phone number and never texts me questions.
What?
Like he waits until these streams.
Yeah,
and he hits me with all the hard questions.
Oh my goodness, Antonio, man, that is funny. He has a great question, man. Big shout out to him, man. And Brian said, "Willie, not anymore." He said, because basically Willie said, "Brian, you might end up on the couch tonight." He said, "No, I have a bed in my spare room." Oh my goodness. Anyways, a question from Rio said, "When are we getting the Southwest 777-300?"
Man, I would see. And here's the funny thing about that: I would love to fly the 777. I just want to do it like San Diego to Denver. Still, you know what I mean? I still want to do like Southwest routes, but I wouldn't mind flying like a 78 or a 777.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
Right.
And to add to that, another question asks, do you think Southwest would add an AIRBUS to the fleet anytime?
I think, and I don't know. Number one, I don't speak for Southwest. I'm just a pilot. But I do think at some point they will have to diversify. It has been the thing that has kept us, like, number one. And if you go back and we can talk about the history at some of the points. It's too long, but like if you go back, Southwest never should have survived. We had so many things against us. We literally never should have survived. And now we do more flights in the United States than anyone put together.
Wow.
So the fact awesome. That we should have died before we ever became a company. And then it's like through all odds, we persevered. And now we do more flights than almost any airline on the planet. That's crazy.
Nice. That deserves a round of applause. Give it up for Southwest, guys. That is awesome.
For sure. And
that is awesome.
Part of that, though, that helped create that is the fact that we only flew one plane, right? Wow. It's the fact that we had one plane, so we only needed one type rating, we only needed one type of parts. But we are reaching a point, especially with what's going on with like Boeing and stuff.
Yeah.
We're reaching a point where, man, you have too many eggs in one basket. Like that could be a problem.
That's
and
true.
So I think this has shown us that, and it has shown us that our greatest feat is also our greatest struggle. So I do think at some point I think we'll diversify. But,
Nice.
When, I have no clue.
Awesome. Great answer. Shout out to Southwest once again, man. Dwayne Thomas, is always good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Much love. Hope all is well with you and your family, man. Much love. He has a question. He said, Captain Nick, have you ever had to add heavy to any of your call signs for a flight?
So I've got kind of funny answer. No, is the original answer, because I don't fly heavies. You have to be over like, there's heavy and then there's super, actually, which is even more than, it's like 1,000,000 pounds. So heavy is like anything over 500,000 or whatever the number is. And then super is like anything over like 850 or 1,000,000 or some crazy number. So no, I've never had to, but the other day taxiing out, there was a heavy in Denver. It was my first flight like last week or 2 weeks ago. And so we're taxiing and they were talking to a heavy and they forgot to use his call sign. Wow. And then when they contacted us, they accidentally used the heavy's call sign with us.
No way.
And so I was like, no take backsies. And so on the radio, I was like, heavy Southwest 5426. they were all laughing. But I've never had to, but I've used it.
That is funny. Nice. Sheila, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. Say, have you ever had an engine go out in a plane? Sheila, thank you so much. I think you're new on the channel. Thank you so much for joining. So Sheila said, have you ever had an engine go out?
Yes, I've had an engine go out. It was on a single engine, but not on a jet aircraft.
Got you. But yeah, if you're new, guys, thank you so much. We are speaking to Captain Nick in the Discord and on the YouTube right now. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Let me see.
There's one in there.
You go ahead. Yeah.
Purachi?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying
I was trying to.
You're better at these.
Yeah, I was trying to pronounce it too.
You go ahead. You bet that boy.
No, I can't pronounce his name. That's all you. That's all you, man. P.O.
So yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
Purachi. So who is speaking? My name is Nick, and yes, I'm on the Discord, and so if you go down on the left side, you go to Ask a Pilot. That's me. Yes. So send any question you ever have. There is no such thing, and I want this to. I don't know how many people are on stream right now, but let this reverberate for a second. There are no dumb questions. If you ever make fun of someone else's question, you and I are about to have a problem.
Yep.
There are no dumb questions, only questions left unasked. So please ask them. And I don't mind what it is. And I think if you scroll through there, you'll realize I answer every question that I can.
Yep.
So,
you do.
Throw them out there.
Yep. We have 70 on TikTok and 40 on YouTube. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for hopping on, man. Captain Nick is a great guy. He answers a lot of questions, and he has no problem answering any question, man. Even if it's a repeated question that we've seen 1,000,000 times, Captain Nick has no problem answering it. So much love to him. And let me see. Keep on going with the questions. He said, has he ever talked to Kennedy Steve, the New York giant, awesome ATC controller? Have you ever spoke to Kennedy Steve before?
I'd have to hear his voice, but I mean, probably. I mean, I so like when I was with Republic, we basically owned the Northeast. So yeah, I've been up in that Northeast more times than I could count. Nice. I've probably talked to him.
Got you. Let me see. Rio said, question, what's the process of dealing with flaps issue with a strong tailwind? Strong.
Oh, so yeah, that's a problem. So like it'll depend. It very much depends, Rio. Like if it's a crazy strong tailwind, why are we landing on this runway is going to pop up in my head, because I never want to land with more than a 10-knot tailwind. But more so with a headwind, a crazy headwind, I may use less flaps. So like it's going to sound counterintuitive, but like when I'm landing with like a 30-40 knot gusting wind, I actually want less flaps because it takes me further away from that stall speed. It gives me more control over this plane. I come in at a faster speed. It allows me to control the plane better. So it's kind of like if you've ever rode a bike at like a partial mile an hour, it's harder to control than it is if you're riding a bike at like 10 miles an hour. So when I put flaps in, man, when I'm flaps 40, that plane feels like you're balancing it on a pin.
Wow.
Whereas if I do a flaps 15 landing, I have way more authority than I do a flaps 30 or 40.
Wow.
That's a great question.
That's an amazing question, Rio. Rio, that was really good, man. Thank you so much for that question, Rio. An amazing answer once again by Captain Nick. We have a long question here by Dwayne. I don't know if you want to read that and check it out, but we have a shorter question.
Nick, the last time I was on Southwest, when we crossed a runway, the pilot had the strobes on, and then after we crossed, is it on? No. So basically he's talking to me about the strobes.
Okay.
So on the first officer, anytime we're on an active runway or we're flying, right, clear for takeoff, clear for landing, whatever, the strobes are on. As we get off of that runway, once we land, strobes go back off. And then, like, let's say there's parallel runways and we land on the outside runway. So then we're going to hold short of the inside runway. And when we're cleared to cross, we turn the strobes back on. And what it does is at night, it allows other planes to go, wait, strobes mean someone's on a runway. It's just an extra verification. It's kind of a kindness to be like, if you see strobes on that runway, you know a plane is on your runway actively. And so it's just an extra safety precaution. And then you're going to see those strobes turn back off once they get over the runway. Now, we're human, man. I remember one time taxiing into Boston when I was a captain at Republic, and I remember being like, dude, some jerk has his strobes on. And I was like, that's me. That's me. I'm that guy. So I accidentally left my strobes on.
What?
After I got off the runway, but I'm like, some noob captain. And then I was like, oh my God, it's me.
That was you.
Yeah. The best thing is if you call it out on the radio, you're like, strobes. And then you're like, oh God, that's me.
That's funny.
But yeah, if you're noticing that means you're very receptive, because those strobes are kind of hard. Most people don't pay any attention. And also with the strobes, if I'm going through a class, like the other day I was going through a thunderstorm, not through the heart of it, but like I was going around a thunderstorm, but I was in clouds, and I turned the strobes off because you're just going to get, like, some people have seizures and stuff, which is pretty rare, but like, it's more just like, it's annoying.
Yeah.
Like you're just getting, that cloud that surrounds you is just getting like, bam, bam, bam.
Wow.
And so I turned the strobes off on that.
Wow. That must have been crazy to see. George said that's correct. Indeed. Your candidate said, how much money do you get paid on Southwest? Nah, I don't think he's going to disclose that at all. The Camelio.
I won't. Here's what I'll say to that, though. I won't disclose that, but I'm very open. Like, that's not, it's not a secret. I do post that to a degree. I'm not going to say how much I make.
Yes. Because
that's not fair. But, and it's not fair, not because I'm not transparent. It's not fair because I fly a lot less than most people do. And so there's people who fly less than me. There's people who fly more than me. So even though we're making the same hourly, we make very different yearly. And so I actually don't mind that question. And I am excited that people ask that question because it does give them something to look forward to. This, it's not a brag. There is money in aviation. Once you reach a certain point, I spent, and I'll preface this by saying, I spent years poor. I spent years wondering whether or not I should pay electricity or water, right?
Yep.
So understand, I did not get to this point overnight. And like we did on the last stream, I was like, I've made it.
Yeah.
And that's a very good feeling to say. Yep. So I do well over six figures. However, it's taken me a lot to get here. So this year I will make over 200,000. Someone else.
That's awesome.
Same year. Yeah. Thank you. Same year as me. Someone else might be making 400,000 or 50. Or they may make just a little bit less than me. But keep in mind, my quality of life, which is the reason why I chose Southwest, is I want time off. So we have captains who make over $1 million a year.
Wow.
But all they do is work. So that question is very loaded. And that's the reason why I'm very cautious when I answer it, because I don't want you to hear like, oh, every pilot's a millionaire. That's not true. Like, there are plenty of pilots out there who are like, I fly my minimum line and I go home because I love being with my family.
Oh.
And even them, they're making great money. Yeah. Like, let's be honest. But same start date, same class date, they've been making 10 times more, but all they do is work, right?
Wow. Yeah. I actually saw a TikTok. Go ahead. Yeah, thank you so much,
sorry,
Willie, for the 2 gifted, man. Thank you so much. He said, Captain Nick, much love indeed, man. Much love to you, Willie. Appreciate you so much, man. Yeah, I saw a TikTok, actually. A pilot was talking about how much pilots make, and he also said the same exact thing you just said. It varies. You have pilots that choose to work, and not have a at-home life and make $1 million a year. And they have pilots that just love to work, go home, and chill with their family and just make a good amount and be okay with that. That's a great answer.
You're watching... He works for a regional. He's got short, kind of blonde hair.
Southwest? No.
The guy you're talking about on TikTok?
I think, no, the one I'm talking about, I think somebody in the chat called his name before. He works for Southwest also. He's a black. Cool. Yeah, I got to find it. I can't remember his name, but I'll find it for sure. Yeah, that was a great answer. Thank you so much for sharing it. I love that you're so open. I really appreciate that, man. Cool. Camilla on TikTok said, hello, Captain Nick. What does wind shear mean? Because I always have that problem while I'm landing.
Oh, yeah. So that's me too. That's a good question. So it's essentially when you have, okay, let me try to figure out the best way to visually describe this. So I mean, the technical is you've got a lot of wind and then it's shearing to no wind, which is very dangerous. And then it goes back to a lot of wind. So if I'm landing with a 50 knot constant wind, I don't care. It does not affect me, not one bit. It's like if it's right down the runway and it is perfectly 50 knots and it never changes, like, dude, I fly at 600 miles an hour. 50 knots does not bother me, right? But it's when it's shearing, so it's going from 50 to 10, then back to 50, you get wind shear. So you get a ton of performance when you've got a 50 knot headwind. And then when it shears to 10, you just lost 40 knots of performance out of nowhere. And then when you're trying to correct for that, so you're blasting in a ton of power, you get this 50 knot headwind again. Well, now you're way over speed, so you're pulling back power to idle. And then if you lose that 50 again, you could stall out. And so wind shear is really dangerous for us. That's why we have wind shear alerting systems. Microbursts are even worse. It's basically just a wind shear on steroids, kind of, but with a downward force. So I want you to imagine you and I hop into a canoe and we're super strong. And so we're going to go straight across the river. Well, this river is going at like 4 miles an hour. Okay, no problem. We point upstream just a little bit and we start paddling, right? But we're going straight across because we're pointing upstream of the river. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now imagine that river just went from 4 miles an hour to 20.
Wow.
Now we're pointing in a different direction. We're paddling way harder, but we're still going straight across the best we can. Now that river goes back to 4 miles an hour. Well, now we're going upriver. We're not pointing at the same place. Like, that's what wind shearing, that's what happens with us. So wind shear, definitely a dangerous thing that, you know, we prep for it all the time. Like we have wind shear maneuvers. We have wind shear, like on takeoff and landing, we do something different every time. So we combat that very well.
That's a great question. Camellia, the awesome question. And Captain Nick, thank you so much for that amazing answer. Somebody said, who are we speaking with? Speaking with the amazing Captain Nick. He's a captain for Southwest. Feel free to ask him any questions. Yeah, I love the comparison you made with the canoe and everything just now. That was an awesome way to explain it. We have a few more questions. Thank you guys so much for the questions. Let me see. Hobie said, I'm in work mode right now. I'm not making too much money yet, though, but soon enough. Indeed. Keep on working, Hobie. You got this, Brent. Dwayne said,
and that's paying your dues. And like, these are the moments you will remember, Hobie. Like, and I speak to you directly a lot because you're following in my footsteps, right? Like, you're following everything that I already went through. So like, I want you to remember at that point in time where you're barely able to make your rent and you're barely able to make your utilities. Are you still making them? And if the answer is yes, then keep pushing. And if you're not, call me, dude. Like, I can help you. But like, there was times, and this is no joke, there were times where I was taking freezing cold showers because I couldn't afford the heat. I couldn't afford electricity, so I couldn't afford heat. And if you stay the course, it absolutely pays off. And it's gotten better, right? Like, Hobie, like, I'm sure you're making, when I was a flight instructor, I was not even making $10 an hour.
Wow.
So like, if you're making more than that, you're doing better than I was.
Awesome.
So the industry has gotten better. Not to deter anyone who is looking to do it. Right now is the best time we've ever had, financially and time-wise. But Hobie, you've got this, man. Keep going. Just call me if you need help.
Amazing advice there from Captain Nick. And willing to help is amazing. Thank you so much for lending Hobie a helping hand. That is awesome. That is awesome. Much love to you. We have Workout. Good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. Dwayne said, Captain Nick, how long was your class/training to become a commercial pilot?
Okay, I'm gonna break that down a couple different ways. So I'm guessing you mean when I went through with Southwest.
Yes, probably.
Okay, so commercial. Keep this in mind. That's not commercial. That's airline transport. So when I got my commercial license, like Hobie, who's a flight instructor, he has his commercial. So commercial means you can fly someone for hire. That does not mean you're an airline pilot. So Hobie will then work on his airline transport pilot to become an airline transport pilot to work for an air carrier of some sort. So when you say commercial, that's kind of catch-22. For me, when I did my commercial, I did it over the summer on a summer lab, but I was really busting my butt to do it. And as far as my airline transport, when I got hired on with Southwest is very different, where they try to shove you through the program. It's truly like drinking water from a fire hose. And I mean that in every way, shape, or form. It's a lot of self-study. It's 7 days a week for 56 days. And it's a very big fail rate because a lot of people can't hang on. Like it takes you, they will not teach you everything you need to know. And if you have that mentality, you're going to fail out. You need to do so much self-studying. I mean, I was up hours before class to study. Then I would go to school all day. And then when I got back to my hotel, I was studying all night. And then I'd get a couple hours of sleep and I'd go right back to the classroom. So, it's a lot for sure. But Southwest does it in 56 days. Whereas like American United and Delta, I think their training platform is like 90 days.
Wow.
So it's a little more chill.
Okay. Got you. Understood. Once again, guys, thank you so much for joining. We are on the line with Captain Nick, and he is doing an awesome job. You guys are doing even a better job at these amazing questions. At the end of the stream, we had a plan. We were going to play FIFA to end off the stream, but we are going to omit that until tomorrow night. Antonio will finish the finals because the stream and the questions are going so good. We have to keep on going, man. So shout out to you, Captain Nick. We got UPS John in the chat. He said, the wife and I fly Southwest exclusively for the last 10 years.
That's right.
Because of our Yorkie. So will Southwest ever get freaking flyer miles for pets?
Man, I will give you some miles for your pet. And I will give you much love for your pet. I don't know. That's pretty cool. I will actually, if you see me, I will give you some special gifts that no one else gets from Southwest for your Yorkie.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Another great question.
But I get to pet it.
You definitely have to pet it for sure. Another great question here from Camellia on TikTok. He said, Captain Nick, I'm quite confused with ATC codes such as Alpha and Bravo. What do they mean?
So, so Alpha and Bravo are just the phonetic A and B. If that's kind of what you're asking, and I'm guessing it's not. My guess is what you mean is like when you check in with ATC, you say we have information Alpha, or information Bravo or Charlie or whatever. And what that is a different weather. So like when you get the weather at a certain airport, they come with a phonetic code associated with them so that they can ensure you have the most recent up-to-date weather possible. And so there'll be like information Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, whatever. And so if you call in, you're like, oh, we've got information Echo, but it's Foxtrot, they know you're behind. And they know that you need to get the new ATIS weather so that you can be the most up-to-date that you can be. Wow. If that helps you.
That is a great answer. So, Camellia, hopefully that answered, and I'm pretty sure it probably did, man. Great answer by Captain Nick once again, man. He said, thank you so much. Much love. Captain Nick, how much time did you spend on sims versus actually flying? What do you recommend as a better study tool?
So that's a great question. We did not, and this is gonna make me sound ancient. I promise I didn't go through training that long ago, but like we did not have access to the simulators that we have today. Like technology moves at a crazy pace. Like once, think about computers for the first 20 years really didn't change much. And then all of a sudden, once they did, they changed rapidly. And we're just ever like in 5 years from now, we'll look at the technology we have today and we'll be like, oh, can you remember when I used blah, blah, blah? Like, remember okay, just 5 years ago, we were using what, the iPhone 6 or 7 or something like that. Like, you look back at that and you're like, oh my God, the iPhone 7. But seriously, like, that was just a few years ago. It doesn't feel like that long ago. So I will say this. I personally am more of a hands-on, real-world person. There is a time and a place for simulator training, for sure. However, there are definitely times where I opted for the simulator because, like, when you're doing your instrument specifically, you're going to do a lot of things that are very abnormal, like dealing with VORs, VOR, DME arcs. And in a simulator, I can pause it and go, okay, what the heck? Like, what am I dealing with right now? Why am I not getting this? Why don't I see this as I should? And so a simulator has its place. And especially in today's world, I mean, heck, you can get a Microsoft Flight Simulator and they're so real that, like, you know, I'll even get on every once in a while. I think Nate, so this is no joke. And Nate can back this up. Nate Dogg Gaming, the guy that you're talking about, he did not have Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh, yes.
We talked. And then, remember, we helped him get Microsoft Flight Simulator. So then he got on and I got on, and through, like, you know, I don't know if it was Discord or on the phone, whatever it was, he had never flown in Microsoft Flight Simulator ever. And I coached him on a takeoff, flying a full pattern.
Wow.
And a landing by himself.
Wow. On Flight Simulator.
Over the phone.
Wow.
On Microsoft Flight Simulator. So all that to say, like, that's not me being an excellent teacher. That's him being an excellent student. And so, like, all that to say, you can do a lot. So now, I bet you, if he got in a real plane, like a little Cessna, I guarantee you, he could land that thing no problem.
Wow.
No problem. Antonio, all these guys could just hop into a plane and land it. Now, a 777, maybe not. But, like, you get the point, though. Like, you know how to fly a plane now, and that just wasn't available in this capacity like it is now.
Wow, that is
so. Use it, man. It's a tool. Use it.
Sure. It's technology has definitely increased over the few years, and the fact that you taught him how to take off and level off and land over the phone, that is pretty awesome. That is great.
Full pattern.
Wow. That is amazing. Walter on TikTok said, Captain Nick, I'm getting ready to start flight school, fresh out of high school.
Nice.
Any tips? Any tips?
Yes. Let's talk. Like, that's literally what I do.
Nice.
So I'm excited making this journey, and I will be there every step of the way.
Awesome.
Learn everything you can. There's so much free information out there in the world. I mean, heck, what we're doing right now is free. So just you showing up, just you learning will save you thousands of dollars, because that's the big thing, right? Every time it's like, oh man, I want to be a pilot, but it's so expensive. It doesn't have to be, man. Like, if you take some steps on your own, you can save thousands. And I'm talking like maybe even $10,000 more if you take some steps on your own. So hit me up in that Discord. I absolutely have some stuff that can help you.
Nice.
But yeah, like learning, it sounds stupid, but like learning the phonetic alphabet, right? Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel. If you can learn that before you get to flight training, why are you paying an instructor 2 hours to teach you that when I can teach it to you for free? And that instructor is going to charge you $250. Well, congratulations, I just taught you for free. You know what I mean? That's $250 you didn't have to spend. And once you get to flight school and you already know it, when all your peers are just now learning it, you're ahead of the curve, so that inevitably you will hit a brick wall. At some point. Everyone does. But you can hit that brick wall later than your peers. You can hit that brick wall slower than your peers.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That is true. Great advice. That is awesome, man. So hopefully, who asked that question is Walter. Walter, hopefully that answers your question, man. Much love. Also, guys, Walter and anybody else in the chat that want to keep talking with Captain Nick, we have a free Discord. Feel free to add. The link is in the description on TikTok and also on YouTube. This is it right here. Basically, a big group chat. We're a family that love aviation and everything else. Talk about sports and everything else. Feel free to join. Click that link in the description on YouTube and on TikTok. And feel free to join. Once again, welcome. Let me see. We have another question here from Dwayne. Dwayne said, Captain Nick, I'm having a hard time understanding what Squawk stands for in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I've tried looking it up, but no good answers. How can I keep in
Okay.
touch for more questions? Like I said, the Discord. You got it. Here we go.
So the Discord for sure. Go to the Ask a Pilot, and then or tag me, right? Because I'm not like, dude, I don't have the time to go through like all the different things. You just ask a
For
question,
sure,
but,
yeah.
like, if you ask it and you Ask a Pilot, and specifically if you tag me, I will help you with any question you have. But I'm glad that two things. I'm glad you asked the question, and B, I'm glad you did some research beforehand, right?
Nice.
So like, I love when people ask questions, but I definitely love when someone's like, hey, I've tried to educate myself a little bit, and now I'm asking the question. So Squawk is a way for me to personalize who you are. So like, you have a name, but when you're just, Cessna 123, I can give you a Squawk code, right, which is part of the transponder, and it's a 4-number code that is personal to you. So like, hey, Squawk 1526, and then all of a sudden you pop up on a radar scope very specifically. You're not just another plane flying around. You are Bob or Jim or whoever you are, right? You are identified because you're squawking a specific transponder code. And then take it one step further. We have 3 emergency codes that we can squawk: 7500, 7600, and 7700. So 7500 means we're hijacked. 7600 means we've lost communications.
Wow.
And 7700 is just a general emergency. I need your attention on me now. And all those codes will like get that radar scope to start blinking.
Wow.
So yeah, that squawk is just a personalized code to be like, oh, this is Nick, and Nick is flying this plane, and like now we can keep an eye on Nick because we know who Nick is. We know which plane he's flying.
Gotcha. That's a great answer. Great answer. Great question. Thank you so much for that. George had a question earlier up. He said, Captain Nick, where did you train?
So mainly in Tennessee. I went to Middle Tennessee State University and did most of my training in close to Nashville. It's called Murfreesboro, for anyone who knows the area. But yeah, central Nashville.
Nice. Awesome. Ryland's been asking this question for the last 2 hours. He said, Captain Nick, have you ever had an argument with ATC?
Yes, kind of. So a disagreement is different than an argument. When you are up in the air, you need to swallow your pride, and you need to step down and realize being in the air is zero place to have any sort of animosity or any sort of tumultuous relationship. Wait until you're on the ground, get a number, call them if you have to, whatever. But there's zero reason. Like every once in a while you hear like these ATC stories where you hear like a pilot or an air traffic controller yelling at each other. That's not going to fly with me, dude. Like if you want to get rowdy with me, I'll give you my phone number. You can call me later. But like, I'm not doing it while I'm flying. So have I had a disagreement? Yes. I've been like, they tried to turn me at a thunderstorm. Actually, we were just talking about this in the Discord. They tried to turn me at a thunderstorm when I took off at LaGuardia one day.
Wow.
They just didn't see it in their scope. And I told them, no, I'm turning this way. Well, he didn't like that because he felt like I was overruling him. And so all I did was educate him on why I was doing what I was doing. And that's pilot authority. Like ATC is there to help the pilot, not the other way around.
Wow.
So the pilot has the ultimate authority. Well, that person pointed me at a thunderstorm. I'm not going to do it, right?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a disagreement. It's not an argument. But like,
for sure.
He wanted to understand. He got a little testy with me and was like, I gave you a heading, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, I understand that, but you pointed me right at a thunderstorm. I'm not going to do it.
Wow. That is crazy. Turn you into a thunderstorm. But yeah, glad that the pilot indeed have the last say because they're up there flying the plane and they can see everything that sometimes the ATC can't see. So that's awesome. We have a question. Hobie, not a question. He said, I've never had an argument with ATC, but they have told me to do things I couldn't. Wow. In that case, you just say unable and you work with them to figure out another way to solve an issue. Wow. That's good to know. Great to know, Hobie. Much love. Let me see. So George said he's going to shoot you a message, Captain Nick. Said he's going to chit chat with you. For sure.
Good.
Awesome. Let me see. Somebody said, any tips for a nervous flyer? Somebody said, I'm flying to Paris in a few days and I'm so nervous.
Yeah. So, okay. The best way to go about that is, why are we nervous? Like, you have to identify it, because it's not I can do you no good until we identify it, right? So are you nervous of the takeoff? Are you nervous of the landing? Do you have, I would call it an irrational fear. Do you have an irrational fear of crashing? Do you have, matter of fact, the best person that could possibly answer this is standing right next to me, my wife. My wife for 5 years was a wildly nervous flyer, right?
Yes. I cried on every single flight.
Cried on every flight.
Wow.
So what did you do to help you get past crying on every flight?
I think it was just getting used to being on the plane. I traveled a lot. I faced my fear and I just started doing it. I double jumped. I faced it, and now I'm fine.
So she did it enough that she just realized. And so that probably, and this is what I'm talking about. That goes back to what's the core issue, right? So it was probably a fear of like crashing, or, and I know her personally, obviously, she gets claustrophobic. So once you realize, hey, everything's okay, everything's fine, we're not going down, we're not crashing, you're going to get off this little tube in a minute. Like once you get past those fears, you can open up a little more and go, okay, this isn't as bad as a lot of nervous flyers is more anxiety. And anxiety is fear of an unrealized future, right? So like if you have anxiety, which many people do, totally understandable, and I'm there for you. But if you have anxiety, you're worried about something that's not even happening. It's not even there. It's not even real yet. You're worried about a potential realization that maybe could happen.
That's
so
true.
if you can pull back a little bit and go, okay, dude, planes fly. Do you know every day in the United States right now, we're screening 3 million passengers a day.
Wow.
They have all made it to their destination.
Yeah.
And that's just America.
Yep.
That's not in the world. That's just America. 3 million passengers we're screening a day, and they're all making it. So you're going to be fine. And if you can have a little bit of solace in that, a little bit of faith, right? A little bit of faith in your pilots, in your plane, you're going to be fine.
That is
now,
awesome.
If it's, dude, I don't like turbulence. I don't blame you. Try to open your air valve a little, get cool air. Even being open with your flight attendants when you get on and you say, hey, listen, I'm a nervous flyer, man. They understand. They get you. They can help you. Because, and I know this for a fact, because I had a flight attendant who told me last trip, she was like, hey, got a super nervous flyer back here. And I said, I'll make it colder. I can do this. I can help you. So like awesome. I made the plane cooler when we were hitting bumps, when we were taking off and landing, and it helped them, because that's just your nervous system kicking in, because like they get nervous, so they get hot. And when they get hot, they get uncomfortable and they get clammy and they get cramped up.
Yeah.
I can fix that. I can help you. But I can't if you aren't talking to us, right? So it's okay to tell your flight attendant, hey, I'm a nervous flyer. Any chance we can make it colder in here? That's fine.
That is awesome advice. The person that asked the question, Taylor said that is great advice, and thank you so much for that. Also, big shout out to your wife. I didn't know she was there. Happy to have you. Thank you.
She did not like me pulling her off.
Thank you so much for your input, and that helped this person, Taylor, so much. It helped all of us with flight anxiety. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that so much. Let me see. We have a few great questions here, man. Captain Nick, let us know how much more questions you want. I don't want to keep you here all night.
No, you're good. You're good.
Awesome. Okay, we have a few more. Just going to do maybe 4 or 5. Somebody asks, should I get a 4-year degree in order to get hired by a legacy carriers?
Okay. You are pushing right the buttons. So up until 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I've been a huge proponent of, yes, go get a 4-year degree, because you needed it to fly for one of the big four. You needed a 4-year degree. And you could fly for certain regionals and not have to have it. So I'm like, if you only want to fly for a regional, like for example, if you were 52 years old and you were like, hey, I'm getting into flying, should I get a degree? No, because it's not gonna make sense, right, time wise, for you to go through a 4-year degree and get your flying done and go through all these weird odd and end careers like being a CFI and a medevac pilot and whatever, and then become a regional pilot and then upgrade to a captain and a regional and then get to a major. It's not going to pay itself off.
Yeah.
But lately, because of the pilot shortage, which all I can speak of is empirical data. I am not telling you anything you can't look up yourself, and I'm not making a decision for you because I would hate to make a decision and then have you be like, oh, Nick told me. That's not fair. That's not fair for me. That's not fair for you. I will speak on empirical data. And the data says right now, every airline has dropped the requirement for a 4-year degree.
Wow.
Will it come back one day? Maybe. But empirical data says we have more pilots retiring or unfortunately dying just of elder age or whatever. We have more pilots leaving the industry than we have coming in to the industry. So why would they make it harder to become a pilot when we can't get enough pilots as it is? So right now we have let go of the requirement for a 4-year degree. I went and got my 4-year degree because it was required.
Okay.
So right now you don't need to. And I hear this a lot where they're like, well, what if it comes back? It will one day, inevitably. But not right now, because we are short on pilots as it is. And in the next 5 years, 10 years, we're losing so many more pilots than we can create, right? Like if a pilot takes 1 year to retire, but it takes 6 years to make one. So we cannot make them at the speed that we're losing them.
Wow.
And so I would tell you, don't look a gift horse in the mouth and jump on the bandwagon as fast as you can, because once you're grandfathered in, life is good.
Yep.
You're already in. They're not going to tell you to go back to school.
Exactly.
Right.
That's true.
So I got this question the other day. I was texting back and forth with this guy, and he was asking the same question. And he's like, yeah, but I just would feel better. Okay, then do that. Like I'm not telling you not to get a higher education.
Yeah.
You're asking me, hey, I want to become a pilot as fast as possible. Then why are you going off to a 4-year degree?
Exactly.
But if you're saying, hey, I really would like to have a degree, okay, well then do that. But there are programs like Destination 225, United Aviate, Lift Academy. Like there are all these programs right now that have been created in the last 2-3 years specifically to try to fill the pilot slots. So jump on that bandwagon, because it's there for you right now. Why? We all hated having to go get a 4-year degree. Now you don't have to. So why would you do it? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Just do the 2 years and just join. Yeah. That is a great answer. Amazing answer. You have a few more questions here. I see they're rolling in right now. Oh, Hobie, saw your comment. That is crazy, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. We have a question here. Captain Nick, have you ever had a disagreement with your co-pilot on a decision of a route for a flight?
Yes. And that is the hardest one. Wow. That is always the hardest one. Wow. And here's how I will tell you. I try to go back to the root. Why are we having this disagreement? Now, if it's education, let's get educated, right? And I'm not always right? Like I'm a human. So it'd be like if you and I are driving and I go to take, a certain exit and you're like, hey, why are you taking that? You can take that exit. But why are you? Clearly, you know something I don't know. So talk to me. Maybe you're like, well, if you go 2 exits up, you miss all this traffic. Oh, cool, dude. I didn't know that. And so I can think of one specifically where I had a disagreement. This guy was being a little hard-headed because I think I hit his pride, where I told him, I was like, actually, blah, blah, blah. And generally that comes with, oh, cool, didn't know that. When we get on the ground, can you show me that in the book so that I can better learn it, better understand it, right?
Yeah.
He didn't like that I hit his pride. He shouldn't have the pride to begin with, right? Like in aviation, there is no place to have an ego. So, but generally, we don't have a disagreement. We may be like, oh, I don't think that's right. Why do you think that's right? And then we talk about it, and it's like, oh man, I didn't even see that. Okay, cool. Let's move forward. So, matter of fact, you remember, because you sent me a text. You were like, hey, are you okay? I was going into Tampa, and then I diverted to Orlando.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I remember that, yeah.
So for just a second, we had a little disagreement because our alternate, we had enough gas to keep circling. Okay. And he was like, well, I want to keep circling. I want to keep holding.
Wow.
And I said, I get that. Let me tell you why I don't want to. Right. And once he listened, he was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And my idea was, if we can divert, because it's not clearing up as fast as we thought it was going to. That's okay. We need to adapt. Right. So if we can divert before all these guys, We can land in Orlando, get gas, and by the time we're taxiing out to take off, they are just now diverting. So we don't have to worry about, do we have enough gas? We don't have to delay the inevitable. We don't have to worry about, do we have a gate? We know we have a gate because we're going to be the first ones to divert. So I just wanted to cut out early. I wanted to cut my losses.
Oh.
And he was like, oh, that makes sense. So now we got a shared mental model. We're on the same page. We had a little disagreement. Now we don't. And he was like, oh, I perfectly get it. And here's the other thing. I always err on the least restrictive. So if that person's like, I don't like blah, 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 because it's going to take more gas than your idea, let's err on that one as long as it's safe.
Wow. That is pretty cool to know, because I remember that situation in Orlando. You diverted over to Orlando from Tampa. That was crazy. But thank you so much for sharing that you guys did indeed have a little, not a disagreement, but a discussion about what to do. That is very interesting to know.
And if you remember, you were watching, when we were taxiing out, about 30 planes were coming into Orlando.
Yes,
we had beat all of them. We were beating all of them out.
Wow. That is very interesting. It's crazy. UPS John said, will the good Captain Nick be a regular on the show? What's the schedule times? I can listen all evening. Great show. Thank you.
Oh, man, that was nice of you. I'm on quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, man. He hops on whenever he texts me when he's free. So there's not a set schedule, but whenever he's on, I'll definitely I'll send out a message in maybe the Discord or so. But just hop on. Ray randomly hops on, and you will definitely hear from him. He's an awesome guy. He answers a bunch of questions. He's a great, awesome pilot. The best pilot Southwest has, if you ask me.
Thanks.
But hey,
absolutely not true.
that is 100% true in my opinion, man.
Lies, but I'll pay you your $1.
Let me see. He said trip.
Anytime they want to get in touch with me, that's that Discord, man. Just hit me up on Ask a Pilot. I'm there all the time. And I started doing something the other day while I was driving to work. I just jumped in that voice channel.
Oh, nice.
And like 5 or 6 people joined in, and I was like, hey,
nice.
I got 30 minutes to kill anyway. So like, it was kind of an unscripted.
I like that.
I'm here if you want to talk.
Nice. Awesome. Great question here. You said, Captain Nick, I want to be a pilot, but how much does it cost? And when the classes, what do I have to do? Captain Jude.
So we have made that more accessible than ever. There are plenty of programs there, and we have people actively going through them in this Discord. They can help you probably better than I can. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. You can do it on your own, which I had a lot of people do, and I've helped a lot of people do it that way. So you can kind of do it on your own through a Part 61. Just fly when you can, come when you can, pay as you go. I wouldn't recommend it because it takes a little bit longer unless you just have a bunch of money ready to go, or you get a loan, which you're probably gonna have to get a loan anyways. I don't know your finances, but like, most of these places like their money up front. So I've got a friend right now going through Destination 225, and he took out like 120 loan disbursements, and you give this promissory note to the program, and they go, okay, cool, let's go. And he's in an accelerated. They think he's going to have his private. He just started like 2 weeks ago, and they think he's going to have his private in September. He's already working on his instrument stuff while he's doing his private. So it's like a water cannon in the mouth. But if you can hang in there and you can do it, you could potentially be an airline pilot in like 5 years.
Wow.
I mean, we're seeing like our first Destination 225 programs. We're seeing them already in the cockpit of a 737. We're like, wow, you're here already. Like that program just started. And so there are programs to do it, but I would say it's going to cost you, it's cheaper now, more so than it ever has been, because I also had to get the 4-year degree, which was another $100 and something thousand.
Wow.
You don't need that anymore. So we kind of just cut it in half in a way, but it's still going to cost you, let's say $150,000 to become a pilot, but it is still worth it.
Yeah, indeed.
Especially financially in the end.
In the end, for sure.
You will make very good money.
Indeed. As you just said, 4-year degree. Antonio said, I'm planning to get my 4-year degree and fly as well. It may not be for everyone, but do some research before you make your decision. Indeed.
For sure.
Indeed. Let me see. Master 11 said, what 4-year degree do you recommend if you for requirements to become a pilot? What 4-year degree?
Who said that?
Actually, it looks like it's Master 11. I scrolled up a little bit. I see his comment. Yep, Master 11.
That's a super educated question. Good job.
Nice.
question of the day right there. So
Nice.
I went through. I have a Bachelor of Science degree with a concentration of professional pilot because I got my ratings through my college, right? So I was flying at college credits. If you're going to do a degree, that's not a bad one to do. So, you know, it's called something different for everyone, but you're getting college degrees and credits for flying. Here's the kicker. There's nothing that says you need a professional pilot degree to be a pilot. It just says you need a 4-year degree, which actually now it doesn't say at all. So my question to you would be, why are you getting it? Is it personal preference? And if it is, I'll leave it alone, as I've done with Antonio, because Antonio is like, I'm doing it personal choice. I've talked to him about it many, many times. He knows how I feel about it right now.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's personal choice. And I said, cool, I'll be here for you the whole way. I'll help you. You know, he's way smarter than I am, so I can't help him with his classes, but I'll help him with the flying when he's done with it. So, but the airlines don't care what degree you have. They just wanted, I'm not going to say want, they just wanted to see that you had a degree. So the caveat to that is you're taking a lot of gambles when you're learning to become a pilot. Your medical, for the rest of your life, you better keep your medical stuff up to date. You better be good to go, healthy, active, fit, etc. Otherwise, you lose that medical, you lose your license.
Wow.
So you're taking all these gambles, you know, going forward. Now, once you get to like the place that I am, thankfully in my contract, even if I lost my medical right now, financially, I am still set for the rest of my career.
Nice.
Right. But up until this point, I took so many gambles to get to this point, and they happened to pay off. Thank God. But why not look at maybe getting a degree in something you have an interest in, right? So I have 3 minors. Why? Who knows, dude? But I have 3 minors to my name. If I could go back and do it again, if I wasn't going to be doing the flying as part of college credits, which I did, but if I wasn't going to do that, if I was like getting my flying done outside of school, I would have majored in something I would have liked to have a backup plan. So like, I would love to be in psychology. So maybe I should have majored in psychology, even I minored in it, but maybe I should have majored in it so that if for some reason I lost my medical, I have something to back me up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Indeed, it makes a lot of sense. That's a great answer, man. Shout out to Antonio also. He's still firm. He's going to be doing his 4 years in college, and that is okay indeed. We have the second to last question of the night. We have it from Josh. Josh said he's graduating from college, and he's a D1 athlete. Any tips on going to flight school?
I mean, first of all, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
So you are graduating college? Is that what?
Yeah, that's correct? What he said. Yep.
Okay, man. So I kind of wish that we'd have known you earlier because I could have helped you out a little more. I could have helped you with getting financial help because of your status. But, you know, I think you already have the degree at this point. What I would say, look at like a 225 type program. You'll have a leg up in that pool because you do have your degree. You may have a leg up in that regard. Message me on that Discord and I can give you some, you know, a little more help specifically for you. But yeah, I'd say now that you have a degree, congratulations. Great job on the D1 stuff. I would just say push for that. Like, I wouldn't settle for anything less than like do you want to go to Southwest, American, United, Delta? They all have a program. It's called a Zero to Hero program. They all have one, like 225, Aviate, Lyft. I think Delta's got one too, and I just never remember what it is. But they'll have a program like that to help you get in, and you already have a degree, so like it may help give you a leg up, maybe. That's
amazing. Thank you so much, man, and also congratulations to you, Josh, for graduating D1. What sport did you play, man? Congratulations. That is a great answer once again, Captain. We're gonna do one more. Let me scroll up and see if I'll find any questions here. Somebody said, "Oh, Captain Nick said, Captain Nick, do you have a YouTube channel?" Oh, I've been telling him to open one for the longest while. But he said, "And do you do GoPros on any one of your flights?" So 2-part question. 10 off.
So I do not. I'm not. I am technologically challenged. And so
Come on.
I've been telling Trip I would love to start a YouTube channel. I would need a lot of help. Like I would need someone honestly to walk me through it. And I know like Trip doesn't have the time. And I'm not
Oh
gonna
my
ask him to do
goodness,
it,
I
but,
have
like,
the time for you. I have the time for you.
well, I mean, like full time. Like you would have to manage it.
Oh, full time.
Like,
Oh, okay.
like I don't know how to do any of it. And like at least for the beginnings of it, you know, kind of like me as a flight instructor, I would teach someone how to fly. I don't just hop them, like give them the keys and tell them to hop into a plane and hope for the best. Like
that's true.
You know, I would have to kind of do it for them.
Yeah.
For the first little time until they get it, and then I can kind of step back slowly. And I would need that, unfortunately. But here's the caveat: legally, we cannot GoPro anymore. You can in other countries. So if you see that, or people are just taking the risk on their own, I would tell you that I do have it's just a personal TikTok like that I just do for fun. Like I'm not trying to advocate like no one needs to follow me, but I do have a TikTok. I do have some videos up there. They're terrible quality, but they are up there. Matter of fact, actually, one of them is okay quality. I was very proud of that one. But
nice.
I do have some stuff up there, and I would tell you all that video legally is captured by jump seaters.
Okay.
So I cannot, because I'm at a workstation.
Yes.
I cannot take pictures and videos from the cockpit, but there is nothing stopping my jump seater from taking pictures and videos, and then I can say, "Hey, man, thanks for taking that. Do you mind sending that my way?"
For sure.
And so I have like, one of the most notorious approaches into DC is called the River Visual 19. You fly right next to the Pentagon, right next to the White House, right next to the Washington Monument, the CIA headquarters, and I have a video of me flying that approach and landing 19 in DC. And it was so a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, you took that video and then you posted it?" No, a jump seater grabbed it. I asked him for it, and then I snipped it, cut it down a little bit, and I put it on there. So that's why you don't see us like recording, but you see like there's these twins on TikTok that have a ton of views and stuff. They're both pilots, but they work for a UK carrier. They don't care if they have GoPros on there.
Yeah,
and American carriers, they do care.
That is awesome. But once again, man, Captain Nate, thank you so much, man. You've been on the stream for almost 2 hours and answering some questions. I just want to say thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much to your wife also that's been supporting you right next to you, listening to the stream. Shout out to everyone that was asking amazing questions. You guys were I absolutely enjoyed every single question you guys asked and enjoyed every single answer from Captain Nick, man. One last question is, does Southwest Airline has trading cards like Delta does? That's one last question I see here.
I want everyone on this stream to message Southwest directly and tell them they need to do that, because we all want them, right? And I've had a couple people. It's really cool, actually. It's a personal story. I just had, for my first time, someone wrote into Southwest about me. I didn't ask them to. Like I didn't even know they could do that. And like I gave apparently some good customer service, and they wrote. And I don't know how they did it. I don't know to whom it goes to. But I got an outside sourced. We get these things called kicktails. So when we do good things, I can send a kicktail to another Southwest employee. But I didn't know, like, if you on one of my flights, you could be like, "Hey, I just heard this guy on this radio, like, he's helping out a lot, whatever." Like, I didn't know that we could actually do that, and so that was pretty cool. So they do listen. Is my point to that? Like, they do listen, because I got a thing from. I have no clue who it is, but just someone within Southwest. And they were like, "Hey, you did blah, blah, blah on this flight. That was really cool of you. And here's a kicktail." And I got like all these points for it.
Wow.
And like, we can use those points. We can redeem them to buy stuff. Like, I didn't even know about that.
What? So that is pretty cool.
They do listen. I promise you. If you write into Southwest, they do listen. You might not get your way. Yeah. But they do listen to it. They read every one of them. I promise. That is awesome. So, guys, if you really want some trading cards, we can all go to Southwest and send them a DM or some contact with them and just tell them we want some trading cards, man. But once again, man, Dwayne said thank you both for everything. Keep up the good work and on your channel. You're doing a great job growing the channel, brother. Shout out to you, Dwayne. I really appreciate you so much, man. Shout out to every single person in the chat, man. Shout out to Rylan, Rockout, Brian, Antonio, Dwayne. We got George. Good to see you, man. Piochi. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name, but Captain Nick got your name right earlier, man. We got Antonio, retired firefighter. Good to see you, man. Rio, everyone in the chat.
Appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to the TikTok family. We was holding over to 120 viewers on TikTok the whole time, man. So shout out to everyone over there, man. You guys are awesome. Cool. Yeah, man. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. If you want to hear and talk to Captain Nick personally, also feel free to join Discord. And we're going to be back again live tomorrow night doing Willie's birthday flight. So Willie, happy early birthday. 2 more hours until your birthday. So we'll be doing your birthday flight. Happy birthday once again, man. So shout out to everyone in the chat. Much love. Thank you so much for hopping on. And once again, big thank you to Captain Nick, man. He was absolutely amazing. And he is the best, indeed, best Southwest pilot captain there is, man. So much love to you. We really appreciate you on this channel. You're definitely a ray of information and sunshine for the aviation community, man. So once again, thank you so much for being on and answering some amazing questions, man. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, guys.
Much love, man.
Love you guys.
Thank you so much. We love you too, man. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful morning, Monday, and see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. 7:30, actually, 7:30 p.m. One love, much love, and God bless. Peace.